How to set up a Shopify. So in this video, I'll be guiding you on how to start and set up your own Shopify store. So let's start. So one of the first things you're going to want to do, of course, is go ahead and create a Shopify account. Now, if you haven't done so, no worries. You can actually click the link in the description below so that you can create a Shopify account. So once you do, right, all you need to do, of course, is go ahead and enter your credit card information to do the $1 free $1 a month for 3 months, right, trial, right? And then once you've done that, right, you'll be able to subscribe for $1. So once you have done so, right, you could go ahead and just skip the onboarding sequence. You don't need to do this. So I'll just select I'll do this later. All right, so now we are in the admin center. So this is where you're going to be spending a lot of your time when it comes to your Shopify store. Here is where you'll be able to manage your orders, your products, customers, marketing, your discounts, your content, the market, finance, analytics, your online store, right? And now a new update that Shopify just released, the agentic store, pretty much. So to give the option if you want your store products to show up on ChatGPT, right, when people are searching, the apps, and of course the settings. So we'll go through this step by step so that you know what you need to do at first when it comes to setting up your store. So let's start. So one of the first things you want to do, of course, is add your product. So let's go ahead and on the left here, select products. So you have the option now to select either add a single product or import a list of products if you have a list already from maybe another store that you had. So you can just go ahead and select add product. So once you've done so, you could go ahead and upload your very first product. So I have a sample here, which I'm going to use. We'll just use these that I used in another video. We call these, there we go. All right, so let's pretend I'm creating a nail store, right? And so I'll have nail polish, nail color setups. Let's just call it that, right? And then you can use the AI to write a quick description, right, of your product as well here, which is always fantastic, right, to have. So once you have this, right, you can go ahead and select a price. So for this one, we're just gonna write whatever price we want, right? And then you have more options here that you could do, like compare at price, right? So where slash is the price, so like the before and after, right? So we're just gonna put like, you know, 125. It used to cost this setup, right? And now it costs $55, which I'll show you in once we get to the theme section of the video, right? And then once we do that, right, we could just go with shop location, right, with how many inventory we have of this, right? So we could just put like 120, right? And then you have the options again, more detailed information if you want to add that information to continue selling when out of stock, right? So what this means is that you have to, so customers, even though you don't have this product in stock, customers can still buy it, right? Because maybe you'll be able to fulfill the shipping in under 48 hours, right, still. And then you want to set up the shipping properly. So since this is a physical product, right, we will be shipping this, and you will need to set up the correct packaging. So this is important because you want to make sure your customer is charged the correct amount, right? When I used to work at Shopify Support Advisor, there was an issue where a customer, they came in and they were like, you know, their shipping cost a lot more than the product itself, right? So it was a hat that they were selling, right? And the shipping for the hat was going to be like $35, and the hat was only worth like $15. So the customer was going to pay more for shipping than the hat, right? And so after we figured out, it was because their shipping was wrong. They had this option here selected to like a big item, and the weight was like 3 pounds or something like that, and the hat does not weigh it does not weigh 3 pounds, right? And so once we made the changes, right, it was fixed. And then you have your variance options, right? So if like I was selling a t-shirt, right, I would add size, colors, you know, small things that customers might want to know about. And then of course we have the search engine listing. So this is, you don't really have to worry about this, since Shopify pretty much handles this like on their own, right? When it comes to like having the correct URL handle, the correct meta description, and correct page title. But if you need to make any changes, here is, now you know how to make those changes. Now the next thing we have is add tags, right? You can add tags to your product as well, right? So this just makes it really easy to find and locate products, right? You can add the product to collections if you need to, right, as well. And the status of the product, right? So it's active, that means it will show up in the store. And then we have publishing. So you want to just make sure that the product will show up on your online store, but maybe you don't want it to show up in the shop or point of sale, right? And here's where you can also control your for the agentic, if it's supported in your country, right? I think right now it's only supported in the US, last time that I checked. So click done, and then we added our very first product. We just have to click save. So now that we added our very first product, right, we could go ahead and now go to the collections and select collections. So from here you can add collections. So this just makes it easy to you know, highlight maybe your most popular items, right? So you could be like, you know, best books, no, oh yeah, best talk book, best book talk, like for TikTok, right? Best from, right? And then that's it. And then like if I had a bookstore selling books, right, I'll like include all the books that were highlighted under book talk, right? The most popular ones, right? And then from here just click save. And it's very simple to add collections. And now I just added a collection, right? So it's not that difficult to add a collection. The next thing we're going to want to do, of course, is go ahead to markets. So markets is very important, right? So this is where you control where your store gets to sell. So since I'm in Canada, right, by default it's already active, the Canadian market. So that means any Canadians that go to my Shopify store can purchase my nail polish or my books, right? But let's say an American locates my store and they like some of my nail polish and they want to buy something from my store. Well, they can add the product to cart. They just won't be able to check out. And the reason for that is because I don't have this set up. But now that we're going to set this up right now, right, you just want to make sure everything's set up correctly, right? You can click save. Now it's active. So that means that now if a US customer reaches my store, they add the product to cart and they go to checkout, they will be able to check out successfully, right? Since I do have the market set up properly. So the next thing we're going to want to do, of course, is go ahead to your online store. So your online store, right, is where you'll be able to make all the changes of how your store will look like when a customer reaches it, right? So by default, Shopify provides you the Horizon theme, right? So by default, this is, every Shopify store has this by default. But you can also use their AI feature, right? You could to customize the theme to maybe a product so that matches the product, right? So since it knows I uploaded nail polish, right, it's providing me examples of what I could choose from, right? Which is, you know, pretty good, because this is what like the beauty industry sites look like, right? Or you could choose from other free themes that either Shopify provides you, or you could visit the theme store and select themes from third-party theme developers for Shopify, right? So you could just click on paid, and all these are just paid themes that you could choose from. So you want to choose something that will match your industry that you're selling in, right? A quick tip: when you're either designing to go with a premium theme or a Shopify theme, is that if you have an issue with a with a Shopify theme, right, you could reach out to Shopify support and they'll be able to assist you with that. But let's say your theme is by, you know, I buy this theme and then I reach out to Shopify support, they'll be able to do basic support, right, just to make sure it is not a system issue, right? But if they learn that it's a theme issue, right, and they see that you're using a third-party theme, you will need to reach out to the theme developer, right, for support. so that they can address the issue. So just a quick tip right there. Alright, so let's say I just like my Horizon theme. We're going to use that. So now when you find your theme that you like, just click edit theme. Once you click edit theme, you'll be welcome to the theme editor. Here is where you'll be able to make any changes you want to your theme and how your store will look like when people visit it. Right? So right now when people visit, this is what they'll see. So to make changes, right, we could just click on the box that we want to make the changes for. And then from there, we could go ahead and select images, right? So for free images, right? So since this is nail polish, right, I would be looking at women's like beauty makeup, right? And let's pretend that this is the one I want. You can upload your own images, right? Or you can use the free images that Shopify provides you, right? So like browse our latest beauty products, right? And you can make changes here to your text, right? You can go ahead and make changes to the button with where you want people to click, right? As well by clicking here, and you'll be able to change the pages, the blogs, and everything that you want to do from here. And then from there, right, you could go ahead and just play around with this theme page, right? And you'll be able to select the product, right, and just see how it looks, right? If you like the setup, right, maybe you want to add a new section, right? Maybe you want to add recommended products that go with this product, right? Then you could go ahead and like add a collection, right? Add a collection to this page so that you can select the products that might go well with this product right here, right? I could just select my collections, and as you can see here is from best book talk, right? So yeah, and it's just really cool, right? You could just play around with it, and then once you're happy with it, you could click save. Alright, so now that we've done our theme editor, the next thing we're going to want to do, of course, is go ahead and go to pages for your online store. So you want to add the most important pages to your store, right? You want to add your about page, right? You click add pages. You could add your frequently asked questions page as well, right? These pages are very important to have, right? Your about us, right? It's just a quick thing about like, about the brand. You can share a quick story of why you started this brand, right? As well, frequently asked questions page is just helpful because you can provide answers to commonly asked questions, right? So like that, maybe customers don't have to email you. They could go there and they'll be able to locate the answer. So this is where you'll be able to add those type of pages to your store, and just make sure you have them set to visible so that if you want to add these pages to the main menu, you will need to have them visible. So now that we've added the pages, right, we'll need to go to settings to make some changes to the store. So one of the first things you want to do, of course, is set up your Shopify payments. Right? If you don't have this set up, you will not be able to receive payments. So if you're in a country that supports Shopify payments, you will need to use Shopify payments. The only option that where you'll be able to use maybe your own Stripe account, if that's what you want to use, right, your own Stripe account, is if you get like suspended from Shopify payments. And then from there, you'll be able to upload your own Stripe account. Right? You also have the option to add additional payments. So this means you'll be able to add PayPal as an option to give your customers another form of payment, right? But you can only add one primary payment gateway, right? So if Shopify payments set up, you cannot set up Stripe here, right? Because Shopify payments is set up properly, right? So that's just something to take into account. The next thing is you're gonna want to set up is your shipping and delivery. Shipping and delivery, of course, is very important, right? If you're selling physical products. So when you go here, you want to select general profile. So here is where you'll be able to control which countries you'll be able to ship to, right? And which countries Shopify will ship to, right? So right now, since my store by default is in the Canadian market, right? Customers from Canada will be able to purchase, and this is what their price will be. I can customize this, of course, and make it my own, right? By clicking here, edit shipping options, right? And as you can see here, since I do have the US market set up properly, that means US customers will be able to check out successfully, and they'll be able to purchase my items, right? Now, as you can see here, I have this warning here that these, so if any country from, like, let's say any customer from, let's say, South Korea, right, visits my store, they try to buy, they won't be able to purchase the item because I don't have this set up properly. So if that's the case, then I'll have to add South Korea to the market, and then I'll be able to make the changes here so that customers from South Korea will be able to purchase my item. The next thing you're going to want to set up and make sure is you want to work with your accountant or your tax advisor just to make sure that your tax is set up properly for the country that you're selling in, right, as well. The next thing is your domains, right? So your domains is, you want to make your Shopify store look professional, and so you want to have a custom domain. It's one of the best ways to make your Shopify store look professional. All right, so you can either connect an existing domain if you have one already, right? If you don't, you could go to like hosting, or I'll have the link in the description below for you to buy a domain, or you could buy one from Shopify directly, right? One of the benefits of this is that Shopify will automatically do the work and connect a domain for you, right? So that's one of the benefits of using this. So that's pretty much it on setting up your Shopify store. And the last thing that you'll need to do, of course, once you're happy with the themes, right, once you added all the products, you complete the markets, right, you want to go ahead and go to preferences and do the last final touch, and that is to remove the password protection, right? So once you pick a plan, right, you'll be able to remove the password protection, and that means customers will be able to officially visit your store and start buying your product. So yeah, good luck on your Shopify store. If you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Peace.